Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into AI on smartphones,
Sounds good.
specifically how Apple and Samsung are approaching it.
Yeah, you sent over a bunch of articles.
Yeah, a whole bunch.
About all sorts of things.
Looking at like their strategies,
Right, from like the high-level vision stuff.
the marketing, and then what users are actually saying.
Exactly. Like, how are people actually experiencing this stuff?
So we can kind of get past all the hype and see what's really going on.
Yeah, cut through the noise.
And you know what it means for us,
For everyday users?
as people using these phones?
Right, because that's what matters, right?
Totally.
Okay, so where should we start with all this?
Well, I mean, we've got articles from CNET.
Yeah, they've got those pieces laying out each company's AI vision.
Right, like their fundamental approach.
Right, and then Ad Age is all over the marketing battleground.
Oh, yeah, how they're spinning it.
Exactly. And then there's that C-Tech article.
Oh, yeah, the one that's a little more critical of Apple.
Yeah, and then to get into the nuts and bolts.
We've got that feature-by-feature
Oh, it's-
comparison.
From Tech Research Online, they go deep.
Super in-depth, and then to get the user perspective.
We've got that Reddit thread, which is always interesting.
Oh, yeah, some strong opinions in there. And ZDNet has some actual data.
Yeah, on which features people actually use.
Okay, so we've got a lot to unpack here.
We do.
But I guess the first thing that jumps out at me is that Apple and Samsung, they're not just implementing AI differently.
Right.
They seem to have like fundamentally different ideas
Oh, yeah.
about what AI on a smartphone even is.
Yeah, that's one of the big takeaways.
From those CNET articles, right?
Yeah, they really highlight that.
So Apple, they're calling their approach Apple Intelligence.
Right.
And it sounds like they're going for the super personalized,
Yes.
like really integrated experience.
Yeah, it's all about understanding you,
You as an individual,
your context.
how you use your Apple devices.
The iPhone, the iPad, the Mac, the whole ecosystem.
Right, and making the AI work seamlessly across all of them.
Yeah.
It's like that example they gave
Which one?
where Siri can find like a recipe,
Oh, wait.
whether it's in a message or a note,
It doesn't matter where the information is.
but it just
It
knows.
just connects the dots.
And then the big thing for Apple is on-device processing,
Oh, yeah, huge emphasis on privacy.
which they're really pushing as a differentiator.
Makes sense.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're not sending your data to the cloud,
It's all happening right here on your phone.
which, for a lot of people,
It's a big deal.
especially with all the,
Data breaches and everything.
exactly, privacy concerns are at an all-time high.
For sure.
So it's almost like Apple sees AI as this
Yeah,
invisible layer that just makes everything you already do
smoother, more connected.
more efficient,
Yeah, like they said in one of the articles.
because they want it to be integrated.
In the experience you're using all the time,
Right, it's not just a separate app.
it's woven into the fabric of the device,
It's supposed to be like always there in the background.
quietly making things better.
And the goal isn't just to like find information,
Right.
it's to enable action.
To actually help you do things.
Like that example where you can,
Tell Siri to add a specific photo to a note.
yeah, just using your voice
You'd understand your workflow.
within the Apple ecosystem. Pretty impressive when you think about it.
Now, switching gears to Samsung,
Yeah, let's talk Galaxy AI.
they seem to be taking a different approach.
A little more focused,
Yeah, like they're really leaning into specific tasks.
particularly communication and productivity.
Those are their big areas.
That's what they're highlighting, at least.
And they came out strong with that real-time call translation.
Oh, yeah, that was a game changer.
I mean, being able to have a conversation
With someone who speaks a different language
in real time.
seamlessly.
That's huge.
Especially for international business or travel
Or just connecting with family and friends.
who speak different languages.
It opens up a whole new level of communication.
Absolutely.
And they're also pushing AI for writing. Yeah, things like suggesting different tones.
For messages, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you can be more formal or casual.
Depending on who you're talking to.
Exactly. And they've got proofreading capabilities too.
Oh, so it's like having a little editor
Right there in your pocket.
to help you write better.
More effectively.
And these are all very tangible features.
Yeah, you can see the immediate benefit
They're addressing real everyday needs,
that people have.
which I think is smart.
It is.
And it seems like they're more willing to use the cloud.
Yeah, they're not as fixated on-device processing as Apple is.
Which, gives them access to a lot more computing power,
And data.
potentially leading to more advanced features.
That's the trade-off though, right?
Yeah.
More power, but less privacy,
And you need a stable internet connection,
which isn't always a given.
especially if you're traveling or in a remote area.
True.
So, yeah, it's a different philosophy,
For sure.
different priorities.
Leading to different features.
So let's dive into some of those key AI features.
Yeah, let's compare them head to head.
And see how users are reacting.
Based on the data and feedback we have.
So translation obviously is a big one.
Huge.
I mean, Samsung's real-time call translation.
Yeah, that's been a major selling point for them.
It really seems to work well.
People are impressed.
Now, Apple, they do offer translation.
Through Siri and a dedicated Translate app.
But it's not that real-time call feature.
Right.
And I wonder if that's intentional?
You mean because of their privacy focus?
Yeah, like maybe they're not comfortable
Sending that audio data to the cloud.
even if it means not having feature parity.
It's possible they're prioritizing security over being first to market.
It's a trade-off they seem willing to make.
Yeah.
Okay, what about photo editing?
Both companies are doing some cool stuff there.
Yeah, Apple has Image Playground.
And Samsung has Generative Edit.
Both of them let you remove objects.
And get intelligent suggestions for edits.
So functionally, there's some overlap.
Yeah, but the user experience might differ.
And the quality of the edits could vary.
Early reviews seem to suggest that.
And then we have the AI assistants themselves.
The heart of the AI experience.
Right. So Apple is betting big on a revamped Siri.
Yeah, they're saying it's smarter than ever.
It understands your personal context.
And can perform actions within apps.
It's like they're trying to make Siri
Yeah.
a true personal assistant.
That can really manage your digital life.
Which is interesting because it reminds me of what Samsung was trying to do with Bixby.
Oh yeah, back in 2017.
Remember that?
They had that same vision.
Of an assistant that could navigate your phone for you.
But it never really lived up to the hype.
No, it didn't.
So now Samsung is going with Google's Gemini.
Which has access to Google's vast knowledge graph.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good at answering general knowledge questions.
Which has been a weakness for Siri in the past.
Yeah, Siri has struggled with that.
So it'll be interesting to see how they compare now.
Yeah, head to head.
Okay, what about search?
Another crucial area.
Samsung has that cool circle to search feature.
Yeah, it's very intuitive.
Just circle something on the screen and it searches for it.
Apple doesn't really have anything like that.
They're relying on the improved intelligence of Siri,
to power their search.
which you know is integrated into the whole iOS ecosystem.
But it's not as visually driven as Samsung's approach.
And then for the fun
It's
stuff,
the fun stuff.
emojis.
Yes, the essential communication tool,
So Apple has introduced Genmoji.
which are AI-generated emojis.
Yeah, you can create them from text prompts.
Which is pretty cool.
Samsung has their 3D AR emoji
Which are more about creating animated avatars.
that look like you.
Yeah, so it's like a mini-me.
It seems like Apple is embracing generative AI even in this area.
Yeah, giving you more creative flexibility.
Whereas Samsung is sticking with the more personalized avatar approach.
Okay, and then there's health and fitness.
Which is a huge part of our smartphone experience these days.
Yeah, both companies are using AI to provide more insights
And personalized recommendations,
within their respective health ecosystems.
which is where they both have a big advantage.
Yeah, having all that data from their devices and apps
It allows them to really tailor the experience.
to each individual user.
And finally, there's the question of third-party integration.
Yeah, how open are these AI systems?
Apple has said they're going to integrate with models like ChatGPT,
Interesting.
while Samsung seems to be focusing more on their partnerships with Google,
And their own in-house development.
which could lead to very different AI ecosystems.
Yeah, one more open, one more closed.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what these AI can do,
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
but the big question is,
Are people actually using them?
and are they finding them valuable?
That's what really matters.
And that Reddit thread we mentioned,
Yeah.
it suggests that there's a lot of skepticism out there.
A lot of users are like, yeah, okay, but what's the point?
They feel like these AI features are more novelty than necessity.
Yeah, like a gimmick.
And there are concerns about accuracy.
Yeah, one user shared a story about Samsung's AI giving a completely wrong answer.
Which is not good.
No, it erodes trust.
If you can't rely on the AI to be accurate,
Then why would you use it?
and there's that survey you mentioned.
The Cell one?
Yeah, it found that a majority of users
Both iPhone and Galaxy users?
feel like the AI on their phones adds little to no value.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty high.
Like 73% for iPhone users.
And 87% for Samsung users.
That's a lot of people.
It is.
And it's not just about the perceived benefit.
Right.
It also affects their willingness to pay.
Exactly.
The survey found that most users wouldn't pay for an AI subscription.
Like over 86% of iPhone users.
And 94% of Galaxy users.
So they're not seeing enough value to justify the cost.
And the interesting thing is, AI doesn't seem to be a major factor.
When people are choosing their next phone.
Only a small percentage of users said they would switch platforms for better AI.
So it's not a driving force in the market.
Not yet, anyway.
Maybe someday.
And some users on Reddit were even calling some of the AI features bloatware.
Yeah, unwanted additions that clutter the experience.
So there's definitely a disconnect.
Between the industry hype and the user reality.
Okay, but it's not all negative.
No, there are some bright spots.
The ZDNet survey found that some AI features are being used.
And people are finding them useful.
So for iPhone users, the most popular features were the writing tools.
Things like proofreading, revising, summarizing text.
And then notification summaries and priority messages.
Those all make sense.
They address real pain points.
Yeah, they help you manage the information overload.
And for Samsung users,
the top feature was Circle to Search,
which we talked about.
Yeah, it's a really intuitive way to search.
And then Photo Assist for generative editing.
And Chat Assist for help with writing.
So again, we see this pattern of features
that enhance search and communication.
They're solving practical problems
that people have.
But overall, the perception of value is still low.
Yeah, ZDNet found that most users don't find the AI very valuable.
65% for Apple users.
And a whopping 87% for Samsung users.
So there's still a lot of work to be done.
To convince people that AI is worth it.
The ZDNet survey also asked people why they're not using the AI features.
And what did they say?
Well, for iPhone users, the top reason was they hadn't updated their devices.
Oh, so they don't even have access to the latest features.
Right.
That's a problem for Apple.
Yeah, they need to encourage people to update.
Absolutely.
Other reasons included lack of perceived usefulness,
Yeah,
distrust of accuracy,
which we talked about.
privacy concerns,
Of course.
and not understanding how to use the features.
So there's a usability issue there.
Samsung users had similar reasons.
Except updating their device wasn't as big of a factor.
Interesting.
So it seems like Samsung is better at pushing those updates.
Or maybe Galaxy users are just more diligent about updating.
Could be.
Either way, it's clear that just releasing AI features isn't enough.
No, you have to make sure they're useful,
Accurate.
easy to use.
And that people understand how to benefit from them.
It's a whole package.
Now let's talk about the market impact of all of this.
Okay.
That CTech article mentioned that Apple's perceived AI shortcomings.
Might have hurt their iPhone sales.
Yeah, they reported a drop in sales in early 2024.
And Samsung took back the top spot in the market.
Which is pretty significant.
It shows that AI is starting to matter.
To consumers.
At least to some extent.
And Samsung really played up the AI angle.
With their Galaxy S24 marketing.
Calling it the world's first AI smartphone.
Which is a bold claim.
But it seemed to work.
Yeah, it slowed down their sales decline.
So it's clear that both companies are going to keep investing in AI.
They're not going to back down.
And we can expect to see more AI features.
In upcoming devices and software updates.
And their release strategies are different.
Yeah, Apple is being more cautious.
Keeping some of the newer AI features exclusive to their higher-end models.
For now, at least.
While Samsung is making their AI features available on a wider range of devices.
More quickly.
So they're taking different approaches.
So the rollout.
But the competition is definitely on.
Oh, yeah. It's heating up.
Okay, so to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Apple and Samsung. They're both betting big on AI.
But they have different visions.
Apple is all about that personalized, integrated experience.
With a strong focus on privacy.
Keeping the data on your device.
Samsung is more about specific, task-oriented enhancements.
Especially in communication and productivity.
And they're leveraging the cloud more.
But the key takeaway here is
that.
User perception is everything.
Yeah. Despite all the hype.
A lot of people aren't convinced.
They don't see the value yet.
And that's a problem for both companies.
They need to find that killer app.
That makes people go, wow, I need this.
That aha moment.
That makes AI indispensable.
So what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah. What are you hoping AI will solve on your phone?
That's a good question.
Are you more drawn to Apple's approach or Samsung's?
I think for me, privacy is a big concern. So I appreciate Apple's emphasis on on-device processing.
But I also like the convenience of some of Samsung's features.
It's a tough choice.
It is.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, the future of AI on smartphones is still being written.
And our choices as users will shape its direction.
So choose wisely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a good one.
We'll see you next time.
Shep.